Your next speaker is a writer who has won just about every award there is. The Tony, the Pulitzer, an Emmy, a WGA award. He also spoke at my college commencement, but that doesn't make his official bio for some reason. We'll talk about that later as well. Please welcome to the stage, Tony Kushner.
I'm a proud member of the WGA, which means I'm a writer, and since you're all writers, I know you'll sympathize with me that no sooner had I agreed to write something to say today, I immediately got blocked. I have nothing to say to you fantastic, fabulous, brave, talented, and dedicated people that you don't already know. So to get myself unstuck, I thought about whom I could address, who needs to learn something, and of course, the AMPTP came immediately to mind. So the following is addressed to the AMPTP. If you're someone whose workers are out on strike, if, for example, you're a CEO or an executive of one of the companies that's a member of the AMPTP, you should consider this. In the whole history of organized labor, of workers demanding economic justice, demanding our share of the wealth our labor creates, there's never been a strike about which it's the judgment of history that management was in the right and the striking workers were wrong. Never, ever. Sometimes there are strikes that history judges to be ill-timed, but even then, history never confuses power and morality. The AMPTP confuses power with morality, like everyone who's ever been on the wrong side of history. Workers don't strike because we're greedy. Being out on strike is really hard. It's costly, it's scary, it's enervating and infuriating in equal measure. So workers go out on strike only when we have to. Workers strike not because we're greedy, but because our bosses are greedy. If you run a studio or a network or an entity connected to the AMPTP, you may be a very nice person and a decent liberal person who does really great things in the world. You may give a huge wad of cash every year for all sorts of great causes and for decent, by which I mean democratic candidates. But you should be asking yourselves why you have these great wads of cash to give to good causes. When the people who write the scripts that have generated those wads of cash you've stuffed in your pockets have seen their wages falling to unsustainable levels. Whether you're a good person or just some cheap, stingy asshole, if you run a company or help run a company whose workers are out on strike, you should be ashamed of yourself. We are all ashamed of you if supporting the AMPTP's shameless endorsement of greed and injustice. If you're supporting the AMPTP's shameless endorsement of greed and injustice, then you've forgotten what fairness is and what decency is and what words like honor and honesty mean. It makes sense that you've forgotten the meaning of words. That's what happens when you devalue writers. You lose language. We are writers. We know what words mean. We know the difference between truth and malevolent, cynical, self-serving horseshit. We know that this industry of ours is a world, it's an ecology, when the executives and CEOs who make $20 or $20 million a year say that our industry can't afford to ensure writers job security and a fair share of the wealth that our words have helped create. When the ersatz business geniuses of the AMPTP tell us that our industry can't survive unless it exploits its workers and picks their pockets and treats its workers like we're disposable and replaceable and, you hope, eventually entirely unneeded, we know that our industry is being killed and we know who is killing it. And here's a hint, AMPTP, it isn't us, it's you. Your insatiable greed has done to you what insatiable greed always does. It's cost you coherence, it's cauterized your language producing and processing faculties, and it's left you with a bottomless tolerance for incoherent thinking and for speaking gibberish, which is all you've done so far. Speak gibberish to us. This is not a good look for you, AMPTP. You think now that shamelessness is a superpower. You should remember, shamelessness is just another name for the devil. Take a look at yourselves in the mirror, AMPTP, by which I mean take a look at your grotesquely bloated bank accounts and stock portfolios, and ask yourself what the WGA, along with all of sane civilization, is asking you. What the living fuck is the matter with you, AMPTP? Do you really need? Save your souls, pay your writers, earn a crown in heaven rather than eternal ignominy in the grim and gruesome annals of outrageous rapacity. Stop stealing from your workers. And listen, AMPTP, shamelessness has a short shelf life, and the Writers Guild of America is here to tell you the expiration date on your shameless engorging has finally arrived. We will make you remember what words like truth and justice mean. We will teach you where power and ethics intersect. Power and ethics intersect in our demands and on our picket lines. And when power and ethics intersect, let the unethical beware. And by unethical, AMPTP, we mean you.
Blowing up the crowd like the third act of 8 Mile. That's weirdly also the exact same speech he gave at my graduation. Your next speaker is the national